coming. We'll call the meeting to order. I ask Commissioner Harden if he'll lead us in the invocation and the pledge.
Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord, for this day. Thank you, Lord, for the opportunity to be here to serve. And I just ask, Lord, your blessings upon our county. I ask, Lord, your blessings upon our nation. And I ask, Lord, your blessings upon this commission. And just ask, Lord, that you would guide us as we go about our way. And Lord, we ask all these things in your name, Lord Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chairman, can I say something real quick before we get started? Sure. I talked to Buddy Wells earlier, the supervisor of elections. Apparently, 50% of the electorate has already voted, either early or absentee, and I can assure you that the type of person that watches these board meetings probably has already voted. So I'd just really like to ask that everybody please keep the politics and the campaigning down tonight. Let's just have a good meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out. If you'd like to speak, please fill out a speaker card and give it to Patty. We have 2 different citizens to be heard. You can speak on any item, and also you can fill out one for each agenda item. When you come up, please give us your name and address and speak clearly into the microphone. The folks at home will be able to hear you as well. Do we have any changes to the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0. We'll start out with citizens to be heard. Ms. Dana Peck.
Patty, get more seats.
Dana Peck, 2481 Surf Road. I came here tonight for citizens to be heard because of something that was said by one of the commissioners at the last meeting, a commissioner who's not running for any office, by the way, but many of you are. And the commissioner said that at WEI, thousands of our young kids, this is quote, saved their mothers and dads thousands and thousands of dollars in the TCC instruction offered them there. That's not accurate. And so I thought I would come here and make an accurate, based on information I got from TCC, to help you all understand a little bit the lay of the land and put this in context. The Wakulla Environmental Institute, WEI, promised and promoted it would offer an Associate of Science degree in Environmental Science Technology. At this moment at WEI, $6 million, and 3 years later, there's one course offered at TCC, and that's the Oyster Program. And in addition to that, there are a couple of field trips, but one course. So then let's talk about TCC's Wakulla Center, where you would anticipate classes would be offered. At the Wakulla Center, 0 classes are offered. 0. That means no academic courses and no GED. If you're in Wakulla County and you want a GED through TCC, you have to go to Gadsden County or Leon County. None here, according to TCC. Meanwhile, TCC has acquired land in this county and thereby taken it off the property tax rolls. Right about now, there's more than $400,000 of land valued that's under TCC, and it's off the property tax rolls. There's papers to be believed. There could be more than $600,000 more coming off the tax rolls. That's up to $1 million. And who's going to make up that loss in property revenue, property tax revenue? We are. I think you things like this because it affects the people of this county. At the TCC Wakulla Center right now, in lieu of classes, they're doing reconstruction for a group that, I guess, hands out money to people, you know, for grants or to the Wakulla Environmental Institute. I don't know what, but it's not for the classes that are, there are no classes being offered. I hope that you will look into this and see what the effect is of future plans will be on the taxpayers in this county. And if TCC continues to expand, and I happen to admire TCC's academic programs because I taught there for many, many, many years. But I would hope that you would look at the impact the future will have. Building a hotel, an RV park, a dive center,
you,
that
Ms.
can
Peck.
hurt people in this county.
Thank you, Ms. Peck. Next, Mr. Bob Danzy.
Thank you for allowing me to speak. My name is Bob Danzy, and I live at 43 Janet Drive. I am so happy that I got to go after Miss Peck. I'm usually a reasonably nice guy, but this lady is just nasty and horrible. Her and old Crooked Howard there,
Bob, come on.
together, hey, it is what it is.
Please,
I'm
you have
sorry,
respect
I'm
for me.
sorry, I'm
Nothing
sorry.
else, don't do it.
I have respect for you, for Randy. I do have respect for you, but not the other. Now, the lies that they put out is pure lies. What she just stood up here and said is incredible. What she did in the paper is incredible, and I know you knew about it too. You acted like you didn't in that article. Made a comment in there that, like, what did Obama always say? I learned about it on the news like everybody else. That's not true, what you said. What has to happen is, like Randy, it corrected me. I appreciate that, but you're going to have to correct them too. When they just blatantly lie, you're going to have to call it. For her to ask y'all to look into what TCC's doing, it's appalling. All they're trying to do, this has exposed these people. Howard, Miss Peck, just the rest of that group, this has exposed them. And what I mean by that is they wanted to come across as environmentalists to help us rule and run our county. But there's nothing no more environmental than this oyster program. This is incredibly environmental. It takes the nitrogen, the nutrients, it takes all the things that we don't want in the water out. Each oyster filters about 50 gallons a day, and they're against it. So what they're truly for is no growth. They're truly for keeping our county suppressed. Because if they can't be for the oyster program, then you can't call yourself in any form or fashion an environmentalist. It's just impossible. It's the most green-friendly thing we've had, and unfortunately for us, and I am in the program, unfortunately, somebody might make some money, and that's even worse, from their opinion. So I just wanted to set the record straight. I am sick and tired of it. I am sick and tired of the lies and the made-up stuff just to demonize something when they can't tell the truth about what they're doing. They can't tell the truth about the fact that they want to stop growth. They want to stop people from being able to live a decent life here and to make money and all the jobs that this is going to create. It's amazing the jobs that will be available in this program, and to attack it like this, and for Ms. Peck to say that she's been an educator and then to go after TCC this way, it's horrible. And Dr. Kessler, you know you're a part of it too.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Bob Ballard.
Bob Ballard, I'm the Executive Director for the Wakulla Environmental Institute. A couple things I'd like to correct. The building isn't worth $6 million. It's worth $6.5 million. And we got $4.5 million from the legislature. We got $1.5 million from federal grants for the program. Once they did came in to inspect the project, and they heard about the oyster program, the inspector from Atlanta said, "How do I join the oyster program?" And this is one of the finest projects that we've seen. And we're only 3 people at Wakulla Environmental Institute. We've only been there for 6 months, but yet we have started through our students, or are starting, about 40 businesses because of the oyster. Matter of fact, I was down in St. Augustine just last week because I was invited to go there to help clean up their water, to do what we're doing to the Wakulla waters. They wanted us to do that to the East Coast on the Atlantic side. And they said, "Can you help us with what you're doing?" And I said, "Absolutely." So I took a trip down there at my expense to help them to clear their waters. It's an exciting project. In the newspaper, I was quoted, and I will stand by this, in the next 2.5 years, we will be growing more farm-raised oysters. We will be selling more oysters in Wakulla County than Apalachicola. In 5 to 10 years, the largest employer of Wakulla County will be oyster farmers. Very proud of that. Two things that we're supposed to do here from Wakulla Environmental Institute. One is help the environment, help train and teach about the environment. And two is to help the economy. Boy, when you get an opportunity like we've had with the oyster program, and we find out that this is one of the finest places on the planet to grow oysters, and at the same time help the economy, what a wonderful, wonderful gift that has been given us. You know, every time I come up here and speak in front of you guys, in front of the commissioners, Dana Peck does a public records request the next day. Every single time I've been up here. Matter of fact, right now I think I have 3 public records requests in by Dana Peck. She has done more to help our program grow than any single person in Wakulla County. She has made us very honest and trustworthy, and we dot our I's and cross our T's, because anytime we do anything, we know Dana Peck is going to do a public records request. Hopefully we would do that anyway, but thank you, Dana, for helping us get bigger, larger.
Thank you, Mr. Ballard. That ends our citizens to be heard. We'll move into awards and presentation. Start out with an announcement regarding homelessness in the 8-county region.
I asked David if he would let me introduce my good friend, Kristen Dozier, Leon County. We serve together on the CRTPA and soon to serve on the Planning Council too, right, Kristen?
I hope so. Thank you, sir.
Okay,
Yes.
good. She's,
Welcome. Welcome, Chris.
She's Kristen.
Thank you. I like it down here.
We
First
like to be
name,
in here.
Yes. Thank you all for the opportunity today, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. I will actually say this is my first time, after being 6 years in office, ever presenting to another commission, so appreciate the opportunity. And I know full well how it goes with a long agenda, so I will try to be quick. I have a lot of information in the slides for you today, but Patty, who's been a great help, she has that, so I'll move through it rather quickly, but I know you can get that information from her if you want to look at any of the details, and I'm available anytime if you'd like to dig in a little deeper. So, and I'm pointing this way? Yes? Okay. So the Big Bend Continuum of Care. This is an 8-county region, as Commissioner Merritt said, and I have really gotten a crash course. I was the first chairman of this board in the last 2 years, and I'll let you know a little bit more detail in a couple minutes. But it's not something that I have ever done, DCF grants or federal grants. I was really looking at the org structure and working with a lot of agencies. And this is something required by HUD and DCF that we have to do. So I am really here to just give you a high-level outline of it. We've been involved for 2 years, and I should say Commissioner Kessler has been on the board as your appointee for, I think, a little over a year now, and maybe going on 2 years. So we appreciate that involvement, and we are looking for ways to really increase the collaboration among all 8 counties. So that's my primary focus. I do want to introduce Amanda Wander, who used to be with Big Bend Homeless Coalition, now with Big Bend Community-Based Care. She will be doing more work in the region as well, and has been a phenomenal help to me, to all of us as we work through this. So, oh, that was quick. This started in 1994. HUD began instituting the continuum of care. Again, I'm not going to go through every detail here, but this was a way to better coordinate your homeless response in your area and to draw out different things, different issues, and how to address them, from prevention to rapid rehousing. And they really changed their model a lot, both in the structure but also in their focus. Housing first has become, the economics are there. We used to think you get people into job programs first, that is better. Now it's really seen that they are more stable if we get them into housing first and have wraparound services. So the whole model has changed. I will happily say that this is very bipartisan on a national level, and seeing it in Utah and other places, it really has worked from both sides. I like the collaborative nature there, and I think the economics are part of that. We respond every year to a notice of funding availability availability, the NOFA. Just a little side note, Amanda was shepherding this massive grant through without power right after Hurricane Hermine. It was due about a week later, so she was working on that. We may get some extra points for our region because it was submitted right there at the time of the hurricane. But they have specific categories they focus on. Veterans are a very big category right now. We have a team that is rapidly rehousing every veteran that comes into the shelter or into the system right now. There's housing designated for them, also for youth, for others. So we have a lot of people that coordinate throughout the 8 counties, but as you all probably know, a lot of them who need to be sheltered are going to be coming into Leon from your other counties. So we've got teams there that are helping them. Florida legislature stepped in 2001, created the Council on Homelessness and statewide office, and they started directing what the COCs needed to do from a state perspective. So that's where DCF came in. It is, and I will read this, the definition from in 2012 from HUD. COC is the group in each state designed as catchment areas, ours is 8 counties, to carry out the responsibilities outlined in the rule, and within that, DCF added the challenge grants. We also now this year they added 2 more grants, temporary assistance for needy families and emergency service. These are vouchers, other things like that. So we are continuing to take on a lot more responsibility from the state. Agencies used to apply directly. Now they have a grant process locally to go through, and we have to set up a housing assistance plan. It's local driven. We like this, right? But like with anything like this, our area is always the biggest, right? I've got a map for you in a second, but the Big Bend, it just happens. We always get the biggest regions, which make it a little challenging for coordination. The last section here, I won't read through all of that, but this, I mean, it covers a lot of different areas, from transitional living to prevention method for keeping people out of homelessness and other things. That's the state map. And I will say here you've got 2 attachments, I believe, in your agenda. One was the charter that gives you a lot more information should you want it. One was this map. And then I just handed Patty a list of the board members. Yes, sir.
Were those lines designated by the legislature, or is that just, those are the groups that just came together?
That was designated by the HUD legislation. So they govern this. DCF is a pass-through for a lot of federal dollars. I guess it should, and I appreciate that, Commissioner, we will not get the money that we had been getting in past years that the agencies have been direct applying for. Could be around $3 million if we don't better coordinate among our 8 counties. So this is money we've historically had that have helped folks in our area. We could increase that funding to help people. But yes, this is HUD designated.
The only reason I asked it is if it was shifted to the left a little bit, it would mirror the ARPC.
It would, and that actually brings up a really good point, Randy, that, and I'll get less formal here. We have a lot of overlapping multi-county jurisdictions. The managing entity for healthcare covers, I think, from Jefferson all the way over to the western end of the state. We've got Career Source, and none of them align, which is a little challenging for us, right? We've got our MPO, transportation, that is the 4 counties. We're trying to look at these things holistically now, which is good. We're working together really well, I think, particularly on CRTPA and other places improving. But I think keeping that in mind, that these are not choices that we've made. There might be, designations. It's just what we have to...
Not your fault.
Yes, thank you. What we have to deal with here. These slides, again, I'll wrap it up. I know I'm probably running close. This is kind of the purpose of the COC. Again, you can look at this, and it's in the charter. I lifted this directly from the charter. But what you'd see here is it is about data and performance. There are systems, there's a homeless management information system that tracks people through the different agencies. But there's also, for example, a point-in-time count. It used to happen only in Leon. Last year it expanded to Wakulla and 3 of the other counties. You may have seen some of this reporting. That gives us some of the data to know what we're dealing with. Homelessness is going to look really different here than it does in Leon County, or it could, right? I've been in Franklin and other counties, not like this obviously, but talking to some of their folks. You may see more couch surfers. You may see more people who are right on the edge of homelessness, and we could use some of those preventive measures. One of the numbers that stood out for me, was that my 3 minutes?
You're okay.
Yeah, all right. I thought I had 5, but yeah. But I'm used to the button on 3 minutes on our end, right?
No buttons in Wakulla.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, we don't, well, I was going to say something about our dear friends of the city, but we don't need any kill switches at the county level, right? We've got to poke at our cities. Backing up here, a number that I got last week when I moderated a discussion at Capital City Youth Services that also works in Wakulla and other counties. In our our transportation region, there are over 1,800 students in our school systems, and only 800 are in Leon County. So the others are in Jefferson, Wakulla, and Gaston, who are listed as homeless. So this is an issue for all of us, and I think, you know, my purpose in being here is really to highlight this and say that with added engagement, more people volunteering for port and time, things of that nature, we're going to increase our funding levels from DCF and HUD. That's one of the big markers they're looking for, and quite frankly, it's something that kind of dinged us in the last couple of years because getting our arms around 8 counties is pretty big, and this was transition, and that's why I'm here today. So wrapping this up, and I will let you go through this more, but this was really the specifics. We're gathering and analyzing information, identifying, bridging those gaps, and implementing strategies. So we need, at the COC board level, to hear from agencies, from commissioners, from staff in your area, in the other counties, any strategies that you all might have to better engage. We know it's a big drive from Franklin into the areas. I had thought about, and we had talked about this, Howard, doing conference calls, kind of the eastern counties and the western counties, something like that. Anything that you all think might help, the board is open to that. We look forward to engaging more. And the last thing I want to mention, as I go to the slide with contact information, is that one of the really big things, so the first year was kind of just setting up the board and getting a crash course. Between August 15 and August 16, we realized that having this attached to an agency that does direct services, Big Bend Homeless Coalition, wasn't going to work for us. Their workload is huge. The numbers have gone up in recent years. They primarily deal with families and veterans and, you know, a few other categories. But they also direct apply for the grants. And we need, as you know, we know how public procurements and grant cycles go. We need to have a greater firewall. So right now we are looking for a new partner. This is mutual, collaborative. The HUD regional office in Jacksonville said that this is actually unique. Most COCs around the state have gone through similar transitions, and it's been, I will just say, very, very challenging, right? So this is collaborative, and this contact information will change probably in the next 2 to 3 months, but we will keep you updated. And I'm still serving on the board as past chair, but Jim McShane from Career Source is the chairman now, so he will be in contact as well. I hope I covered it very quickly, but do you all have any questions?
I'd just like to thank you for all that you do. You have a very important mission that you do, but you mentioned earlier the work that y'all do with veterans, and I want to thank you that they're putting that emphasis in helping veterans, and I had no idea until you said tonight that there was that many children within our area that would be technically considered homeless, and there's a real need out there, and you've got an important mission, and thank you for taking the lead on it.
I very much appreciate that, Commissioner Hardin, and that stood out to me. That's why the data is so important, and I think we want to look at it holistically, but drilling down into what we can do. Veterans are a very special group within this subject, and I'm really impressed by what we've already done. We can do a lot more. Mr. Chairman? Yes?
Further questions, comments, anyone?
Good job, Kristen.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, I will see you at CRTPA and hopefully Capital Regional. And good
Coming to the
luck.
next Planning Council meeting in September 17th?
Fingers crossed. We have said goodbye to Jane Sauls and named the Fort Braden Library after her, so we all know how it goes during this time in the year, and we'll see our new faces, but I do hope to join you on Appalachia Regional Planning Council, and simply because I have the microphone, Mr. Chairman, there is a lot of coordination we can do on economic development as well. I won't get into the discussion you just heard from public comment, but I'm excited about some regional opportunities for us, and I hope to be working with you as well. So thank you all very much.
Thank you for
Thanks for
coming
coming.
down. All righty. That ends our awards and presentation. Do we have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Next, we'll head into general business. Item number 20.
Item number 20,
Yes, sir.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this agenda item requests board approval to purchase one Class 3 ambulance from Excellence in the amount of $142,498.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Have a motion and second. Any citizens, Patty?
No.
Discussion from the board. Hear none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Item number 10.
This, item number 10, this agenda item requests board approval to not elect purchase of tax deed number 2016-018.
Approve.
Second.
Mr. Chairman, I have to abstain from voting on this. The property in question adjoins my property, and part of the process is they send letters of eligibility to all of the contiguous landowners, and I've received a letter of eligibility because it borders my property, and I just talked to Heather, and I just want to abstain from voting.
Very good. Do
The
we have
motion
any?
is for option 2, correct? To not
Two,
purchase it?
not two.
It's option
Thank you.
to not purchase.
For our motion and our second.
Second.
Do we have any citizens? Discussion from the board. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Passes 4-0. Next.
Jessica?
Item number 11.
Motion to approve.
Okay, hold on. Okay, this item is requesting approval of a resolution amending Section 3 of the PACE resolution. We're having a hard time filling the mortgage broker criteria. This will amend that qualification to read a person currently employed in the mortgage industry or who has previous experience working in the mortgage industry.
Okay, that's my motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any citizens? I sent in a recommendation I'd like to just submit. The part about someone previously worked in the mortgage industry, that industry is changing almost daily now. So you can have someone that's been out of it 6 months and they're really out of the loop. And so I would recommend just a minor change that states a person currently employed in the mortgage industry and who currently possesses an active nationwide mortgage licensing system number. Everyone that's in the industry now is required to fall under this national licensing system.
That doesn't mean they have to be a broker, though, right?
No, brokers are almost non-existent today. Most people now, even in the state of Florida, there's no separate mortgage broker's license anymore like there was a couple years ago. Everyone, if they're a broker, if they're originator, loan officer, they fall under this NMLS system. So this would give us a broader brush, and you can go into the portal, NMLS portal, and you can do a search by zip code, by name, by business, and you can see everyone that's licensed.
I'll
in
accept
there.
that as a friendly amendment then, Howard, if you'll...
I'd like to discuss that
Okay.
before doing it, because I was aware that there was a possibility. So, this area of mortgaging and mortgage brokers and businesses, that's your specialty, Mr. Chairman. Do you think that the wording that you have there will adequately address the
Size of the pool of candidates.
the size of the pool of candidates? Exactly.
I think it's going to be the broadest pool that's possible that will still guarantee that the people are still in the industry and current. We're required to maintain that license, which means continuing education every year, testing every year, and so you'll have people that have more relevant knowledge than if someone has been, say, out of it for a couple of years.
Well, and I'd be willing to keep the second and amend it to go along with the amended motion, and to, of course, the board should readdress this should it not provide the adequate pool.
Absolutely.
I guess,
agree.
would it be a good analogy, Ralph, to say kind of like a real estate broker? There's not a whole lot of those. Real estate agents are a dime a dozen.
Right.
But brokers, I mean, I'm one. I haven't used it in years. But anyway, y'all get the point, that the brokers are rarer. So if this opens up I agree with Howard. If it turns out you still can't get somebody, then let's come back and look at it again.
Absolutely.
Yep, I'm
This would
agreeing with that.
encompass brokers, lenders, originators, all of them. Would
But
all.
somebody that works at the bank that originates loans, or is a loan officer or something like that. maybe.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep. All right, further discussion? Hear none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0.
Ms. Summers going to handle the next item.
Number
Motion to
12.
approve the grant, free money.
That's correct. This is a request for the board to accept a technical assistance grant in the amount of $25,000 from the Department of Economic Opportunity, and also approval of the grant agreement and approval of the individual project order with Kinley Horn and Associates.
Second.
Any citizens? Discussion from the board? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. That ends general business. We'll go into public hearings. Item number 13.
Yes, this is a request for the board to conduct a public hearing and adopt an ordinance amending Section 5-39 of the Land Development Code pertaining to the C3 zoning district. This amendment has been heard at the previous Board of County Commissioners meeting and was recommended for approval by the Planning Commission in October.
Motion to approve.
Second.
A motion second. We've got two citizens. Start with Mr. James Hennessy.
Good evening, Commissioners.
Evening.
My wife and I live on Appalachie Bay in Spring Creek, not far from the new home of the Panacea Oyster Co-op. And we are strong supporters of the oyster industry and firmly believe that, if done right, it can be a significant benefit to our area in terms of the economy, job creation, and our local environment. Our hope, in fact, is that an increasing focus on water quality would be inextricably linked to a thriving oyster industry. The confusion that we and many of our neighbors have in regard to the ultimate purpose and goal of the proposed change to the conditional usage allowed in this amendment. Virtually none of our neighbors had any awareness about this proposed change, as the public notice was a general one and only referenced amending the C3 zoning district. I doubt most citizens know what a C3 or heavy commercial district is, and even if they did, I doubt that Spring Creek would come to mind. Since oysters are already being harvested by the co-op in Spring Creek, no one that I spoke to seems to know what the proposed change will mean for the Spring Creek community and environment. I think that I and all the other property owners, all we wish to know is what adding, quotes, food and kindred products manufacturing, processing, and packaging will mean for our community in terms of property values and the environment. Will it prove to be a clean, sustainable industry that brings jobs, high-quality food, economic growth, or will it mean large trucks on sand roads, loud compressors, piles of smelly oyster shells, think East Point, and effluent discharging into a highly prized fishing and recreational area? I believe that the citizens of Spring Creek deserve answers to these questions before going forward with such a change in land use. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Dana Peck.
Dana Peck, 2481 Surf Road. I'm not here because of the incestuous nature of this request for rezoning. I'm here because there's been a lot to discuss about property rights. And when you look at this, I wonder, when you talk about property rights, whose property you feel has rights. Because I think it clearly says that C3 zoning cannot abut residential, and that's what this would do. So are property rights for the people who have invested, saved and invested in their homes and their residences and their neighborhoods, surrounding area, only to find out someday that someone's going to put C3, heavy industrial, commercial, whatever it is, right next to them, devalue their property perhaps, but really degrade their quality of life. So who has the property rights here? The people who are there and established, or the people who have inside tracks and come in and want to change zoning right in a residential area? That's it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, Summer, maybe I'm confused. Is this a rezoning hearing?
No, sir, it's not.
Okay. Thank you.
Well, maybe you should explain what
what we're actually doing here.
Please.
Yes, this amendment would amend the C3 zoning district to allow food and kindred products to be manufactured, processed, or packaged as a conditional use permit, which is a special permit that is an application can be made. If you have property that is zoned C3, an application could be made for that use, which would have to be approved on a conditional basis by the Planning Commission. This would not be an automatic use that a property would be entitled to if they are zoned C3. Anybody requesting to operate a facility such as this would have to make a specific application and be approved at a public hearing.
Okay, and so to go further, with the example that's being pointed out in Spring Creek, that property right now is zoned,
Is zoned C3 among quite a few other properties in that general vicinity are also zoned C3.
so now it's a matter of allowing a use there in C3 throughout our county that was not normally allowed, is that correct?
Correct.
Is that, if I could follow through a little bit more, especially for James's edification, is this use allowed in C2?
It is as a conditional use as well.
Which is considered a higher intensity commercial?
C3.
C3 is considered higher intensity commercial, so it's currently allowed in C2, which is a lower
A general commercial.
general commercial.
And
So-
C3 is referenced as a heavy commercial.
And again, I want to reiterate that it is a conditional use. It's not like that you could just come in and say, this is an allowable use in C3, go straight to site plan or whatever. You still have to come back before the board, say, it's kind of like if they wanted to put a cemetery there. Is that a conditional use in C3 also? I know it is an ag.
It is in some, and it is also a conditional use in C3.
I'll say, so they couldn't just come in and put a cemetery in without conditional use.
That's correct.
This is the same type issue. It's
But-
not changing an existing zoning.
Yeah, yeah. So, Summer, just to edify one more thing, coming back to the board that was just mentioned, that would be the Planning and Zoning Board, not the Commission.
That would be the Planning Commission, not the Board of County Commissioners.
Thank you for that clarification.
Mhm.
You're more than welcome.
Further discussion?
Yeah, I do have a little bit more. You have some more citizens?
Yeah, oh, Miss Judy Burke.
It's actually Jude. I was named for the same as lost causes.
Sorry about
Jude Burke, 38 Springview Drive, Spring Creek. My comments basically mirror what Mr. Hennessy's already said. In fact, he is my neighbor down the street, and he is one that brought it to our attention, and he is correct. My husband and I really didn't know. We've been watching the activity because I can see it from my front porch. I'm literally across the canal. And we're fine with, the oyster farming, and I think it's great. My concerns were, the smelliness, the extra people that might be coming in, because I was under the assumption the oysters would be shucked there and all of that, and all the problems that would bring. I made a couple of phone calls today to ask some of the people involved, and they assured me that's not going to be the case. I will be interested in watching this go forward to make sure, that some of the assurances I've been given verbally are true, and I'm an oyster lover, so go oysters, So that's really all I had to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Burke. Mr. Bob Ballard.
Bob Ballard again, with Executive Director for the Wakulla Environmental Institute. I've been involved in what's the planning for this. There will not be piles of oyster shells out there. There will be no shucking at this facility. What this facility is designed to do is receive oysters from Oyster Bay, put it immediately into a cooler on site, and then as soon as that those oysters get down to, I believe it's 55 degrees, they are taken to the processing warehouse, which we have under contract at the moment and intend to buy in the very near future. There will be no shucking. It's just a receiving facility to receive the oysters. But there is something else that we're looking to do in the near future, and that's grow spat there, oyster spat, baby oysters. The byproduct of that is cleaner water. We feed the oysters with the water from the area, and then the oysters eat the nitrogen out of that water, they eat the pollutants out of that water, they take carbon out of the water, and the byproduct is cleaner water. So down the road, in about a year, it is our intent to grow oyster spat there, because there is a huge oyster spat for the state of Florida, not just for Wakulla County.
Great. Thank you, sir. Mr. Bob Danzig.
Thank you again for letting me speak. Oysters, it's near and dear to my heart these days, so if I get a little passionate about it, well, you're supposed to be passionate about what you're passionate about. Obviously I support this, but this is just more examples when you see these people asking questions that are ridiculous. It's just more examples of the fact that they don't want growth in Wakulla County. That is the agenda overall. There is nothing better and nothing cleaner than these oysters. From an economic standpoint, to the water quality standpoint, I personally take a scientist out every week on my boat, and he's studying this water quality, and he's going to show from before oysters to after oysters.
You say you take a scientist out there every week?
Every week, a scientist from...
Who is he and where's he from?
He is from Florida A&M, and there's actually two of them. There's Dr. Jaco, but is the guy over the water quality at FAMU. And then there's Marco that goes with us every week. Dr. Jaco goes occasionally. They're very interested. They're actually funded through NOAA. NOAA gives money to Florida A&M, and then in turn Florida A&M hires these people, sends them out, and does the research. And it's incredible what we're learning. Just me, as a layperson on the boat, with seeing the things that he's testing and the things that are coming back from it already, it's incredible. So I support this in every way. I support growth, and that's maybe all I should say. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Rob Olin.
Hey, my name is Rob Olin. I live at 45 Walker Creek Drive. I'm the CEO of the Panacea Co-op. I appreciate this opportunity to speak. I came into the Panacea Oyster Co-op, as part of my overall goal to help save our coast. That's what got me going. And when Bob Ballard told me about these oysters that filter 50 gallons of water a day, that got my attention. Because what we have is an aquarium. We have an aquarium that is stagnant, needs help. These oysters are the original eco engineers. Everything starts like a reef with an oyster bed. So by us helping to put oysters back into our aquarium, Appalachia Bay, we help filter that water. We've done scientific research on this. I work with Dr. Victor Ibanuzzi, who is the Dean of Environmental Studies at FAMU. I work with Dr. Tim Moore, who is the Director of Research and Development at FAMU. Both of them are incredibly excited about our project down here and involved with helping us develop research moving forward. I can only tell you that what we're trying to do is to resurrect this bay. With everything we're doing at Spring Creek Marina, we're looking to ways that we can generate more filters for these waters and help our farmers to bring those same filters back to a safe harbor so we can process them and move them to inland to a safe place where we can then do all the real processing. Spring Creek Marina is just a launch pad for us to go and get oysters out into the water and back safely with as small a footprint as possible. We want to put all of our hardware where it's going to be safe, outside a flood zone, not in a flood zone. So I just want to make this point to everyone, and I appreciate this moment in time, but what we're trying to do is create the perfect opportunity with the least friction to generate jobs in our county, to put people back on the water for not only oyster, but every other aquaculture. whether it's commercial fishing, sport fishing, and any other endeavor related to the harvest our waters can create. You know, you can generate over 30 times more protein from an acre of water than you can an acre of land. We've got the best, most nutrient water in the state right out here. I think it's just a shame for us not to try to do the best we can with it by leaving the least footprint possible for the sake of everyone involved. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That's our last speaker. Further discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to say that we're not here to vote or argue about the pluses or minuses of oyster harvesting. We're here to determine whether or not food and kindred products, manufacturing, processing, and packaging should be an allowable use in C3 anywhere in Wakulla County. And I support that.
And that's the motion and the second that's on the floor. Further discussion.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. So, in the discussion that that I've had with Planning and Zoning, and with in the meeting this morning as well, my concern is why this aspect was treated differently in our plan, and I didn't know if there was some special reasons for it being the seafood and processing plants being handled so differently in there. And I really don't have an answer for that. But that concerns me as a potential impact, you know, as far as odor and things like that, that may evolve when this is put in other areas of our county as well. When you're sitting on a marina, well, you expect to have seafood smells. That's obvious. But when you're allowing this C3, and I'm probably going to be voting for this, but when you're allowing this C3 to go throughout our county with this use in it, that should raise an awareness. Now, as I understand it, there are safeguards built in, 2 levels. One is with the it being a conditional use, that conditional use, if it proves to be a nuisance, can be revoked. And when that request for conditional use is made, how that is worded in the overall package of the documents is a second level of protection. Am I right on that, Summer?
You're correct.
Okay. So, you know, there are these levels. Even though it will not be coming back to the board, it will be handled by the Planning and Zoning, but that's what they're designed to do, is look at these issues. So, but my concern, and it is a concern of mine for the citizens and neighborhoods throughout the county, you may be, you know, we smell what happens from the Foley plant when the wind is blowing in the right direction. We get to enjoy that lovely smell sometimes. But this may be what happens with some of this, and I don't know, and that's something we're going to have to learn.
Can I ask a follow-up question on that? You mentioned earlier that the seafood processing was not addressed in this zoning district. Is there another category that I'm not seeing, a subcategory of food and kindred products specifically for seafood processing?
No, there's not.
Okay, so, and I'm not being argumentative at all. What I'm saying is there is no seafood processing category. They could be processing potatoes there for all we know, or peanuts.
Yeah.
It's just food and kindred products.
Right, and when that conditional use is given for to do the seafood and kindred products, that can change within the scope of the business itself. If the business decides it wants to expand into
Crabs, whatever.
whatever, or processing, or whatever it's going to be doing, or shucking, or whatever, because it has been given the right to do so, it can do it, no matter what the original story was.
Agreed.
Okay.
Further discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Item number 14.
Commissioners, make sure you, I just got an email, make sure you talk into the mic, what you're doing. Just keep doing that. They're having
Email
awful
directed at me?
Yes.
Thank you.
Correct.
Okay.
Mr.
Somebody in the
Chairman,
room send you the email? Okay.
Probably that guy right there.
No, I did not.
I think it was Cole.
Item 14.
Cole or Chris.
Item 14 is requesting board approval to conduct a public hearing and adopt an ordinance that will amend Chapter 7, Article 3 of your code pertaining to boating.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Do we have any citizens? Discussion from the board.
I asked Cody, is he here? This really isn't changing much. I know people don't like seeing a lot of no-wake zones around or slow-speed zones. It's really not changing much from what's there already. That just expired, so this isn't a major change.
Folks in St. Mark's will be very happy. Yep. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0. Item number 15.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is a similar item. It's also amending Article 7, Article 3 of the code. This time it's reestablishing our manatee protection zones.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any citizens? Discussion from the board.
Propose a manatee.
Well, yeah, I do
On
want
election
to...
night.
We have those anti-manatee factions that... in reading over the document, our agenda documents, I don't have them at the top of my head right now, but I'm sure Cody can spit them right out. The number of manatees that are being killed as of the last data that we have showed a significant increase.
It's, as of July 2016, 71 manatees have killed by watercraft in Florida. And that's compared to 2013, 73 over the entire year. So that's half a year, basically. 71 were killed in 1 year, this year, that's killed in all of 2013.
And so
I saved you the spit now.
You'll find, Randy, that the increase in population of the manatees almost doubled. So even though there being probably more killed, which should not be, we should all protect. But that it's all according to how you look at the numbers, because the population has almost doubled.
So I just wanted to bring this up to mention that whether there's a manatee protection zone there or not, when you're boating in confined areas, just think about the manatees and maybe throttle down and give them a chance.
Right, and reinstating this will help FWC enforce it. So.
Okay.
And don't try to ride on their backs either.
Thank you.
No molesting. Thank you.
Thank you, Cody.
Further discussion?
Randy.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0.
I would like, if just a second, take a second to thank Cody and Heather. This took about 2 years to bring to the table. It was, dealing with FWC is not
6?
easy, and
Government at its best.
it's government at its best, and it was
Not our
tough.
government.
So they did a great job.
That was a race between that agenda item and the marina at Shell Point. It was
Exactly.
6 years on that, so it was a race. I believe the marina might have beaten that by a month.
By a month, that's right.
And staff is doing an amazing job when it comes to our parks and the things that we're constantly improving our parks, and credit for staff.
I support staff.
Thank you. All right, let's see, we've got to wait till 6 p.m. to move into planning and zoning. So I guess we'll skip that for now. They're scheduled, let's go through. No commissioner agenda items. County attorney,
Nothing this evening.
county administrator.
The only thing, a couple of things is, while we're thanking staff, thank the library, Robin Drummond and her staff, and staff at BoCC, as well as Cody and Recreation, and Brandy and her folks, for the participation for the putting together the event for the Halloween in the Park story walk. We had over 3,000 people there, families walking together, handing out candy, and just a great time for everybody. The creativity by Robin is just tremendous, and we have such great assets that work for us, and I applaud them and thank them for all that. That was tireless work that they did. They volunteered for that work, and it was really a good thing for our county.
Mm-hmm.
Also, I want to wish the board, those that are running, wish them luck. We will have a different board come 2 weeks from now. There will be at least one change on the board. I want to thank you thank the existing board. I've enjoyed thoroughly, myself and staff have enjoyed working with you, and thank you for everything you've done for our county. And y'all really have. Y'all done a great job, and we've agreed and disagreed on a lot of things, but together we all came together and did the good for the citizens of our county. So thank you.
That's all about. Thank
I'd
you,
like
sir.
to follow up on something David said, if I could, and I'm going to say the same thing. My election, we had a board meeting the night before, and I made a statement. I'd like to make the same statement now. Either A, I'll see you the next meeting, or B, it's been a pleasure serving with you.
And so I just want to piggyback onto the comments that Mr. Edwards made about the Halloween in the park. I've been here since '99. I know a lot of you have been here longer, but I think the last couple of events that were put on, sponsored by the library, and especially this Halloween, was, if you were there, you could sense it was a different event. It was you felt community. You felt that this is really a giant step in the right direction for Wakulla County, and really happy that we have someone like that in the library.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Not to wander too far off the path, but I got a lot of compliments, too, about the Halloween at the Panacea, by the way. Some Smith Creek residents, Cody's shaking his head back here, yes. They said that, it wasn't crowded. It was a really good time. There was a lot of vendors there, or
That was
whatever
very
was
good
there.
as well, yeah.
And she was very, took her daughter there and said that's the place they're going to go from now on. So Panacea was done excellent, too, for Halloween.
Mr. David, I'm waiting for the Christmas lights to go up on 319. We've been talking about this forever.
You haven't seen the lights go up yet?
I've seen some, but I haven't seen much.
We're working just hard. It's not Christmas yet.
Okay.
We haven't had turkey yet. I'm an old traditionalist. I start thinking about Christmas after Thanksgiving.
Just because Walmart's selling Christmas
One other thing about the oyster program I'd like to go along with. In 6 months, we're going to have 100 people that have a job because of the oyster program. 100 people in 6 months will have a job because of the oyster program. Those people are going to be buying boats. 45 of them are going to be buying boats.
Yeah, I think
We have sold several.
We're still on county administrator's item. We're still on county administrator agenda item.
Excuse me.
That's okay.
I got off on Christmas.
You were on a roll.
I got off on Christmas.
I almost hated to interrupt you, man.
We're going to get back to discussion.
Yeah, y'all get back to that. Other than that's all I've got.
So I'd like to also comment on the event that Panacea had for Halloween.
We're killing time.
It was less crowded, but it was a very good event. I think that was their first event. And for a first event, I think they did a spectacular job.
Yeah.
I do have one more thing, Mr. Chairman. Remember, for those, the next meeting is Tuesday, November 22nd. Okay? So,
What's happening November 21st?
we're not having a meeting.
That's the day of swearing in.
Yeah,
so
you have to be
bumping it up.
sworn in 2 weeks after the election, and that falls on Tuesday.
I come on Monday, but somebody else comes on Tuesday.
No, we're all coming on...
I don't need to be sworn in.
We're coming on Tuesday
You
to
can
have
come
the
on
meeting
Monday if
and
you
get
want.
sworn
We're
in.
just not going to be here.
To swear in and the meeting.
Who put on the Panacea Halloween, by
That'd
the way?
be the Waterfronts Committee.
Because I had, Cherie had asked me about maybe next year partnering with the Parks Department so they wouldn't have to pay the rental fee.
We helped set that. We helped set up. Cody helped. He's gone. He helped set up some.
He's here. He's still
did
here.
he? Okay.
He's hiding.
Anyway, she was just asking if they could somehow partner with the county so they wouldn't have to pay the rental fee for the park, because it is a...
Well, and since we're having a successful one, that's probably something we need to look at and talk to Cherie. I'm going to be meeting with her at 9 o'clock in the morning, so...
I got to go get my complaint dosed in Panacea every once in a while. Poses.
I'm going in the
No
morning.
offense, Cherie.
First
I know
thing at
she's
9
listening.
o'clock.
Jared.
We have 13 jobs available at the Panacea Oyster
Let's go.
Co-op.
Oh,
No, we're not at the discussion thing.
Pardon?
Not yet, Jerry, not yet.
We're going to come, I mean, we're all doing discussion. If you want to do it, get it out, but we're going to...
Time before 6 o'clock.
Yeah, we got time.
I'm
You
not
wanna-
discussing, I'm just filling time. All right.
You got 1 minute, it's 5:59.
Also, we have, I know of 4 new businesses that are coming to 319. 4 of them that are going to be hiring people. Can't announce them yet, but in the next 6 months, there will probably be 4 announcements of businesses coming, and most of them are restaurants. It gives people a place to eat that we don't have today so much. We have good restaurants here in town, but we will have more. So that's very exciting. It seems like the economy has moved forward now, and we've gotten out of that 8-year cycle that we suffered through and survived with. But it's beginning to break. El Jalisco's building a new business.
Is that one of the 4?
Pardon?
Is that one of the 4 you mentioned?
No.
Yeah.
No. But
Very secret.
there's one particular business everybody who is on a weight program will be excited about. It may not help your weight program, but you'll be excited to have that business here. So.
Everybody that's on a weight.
All right.
It's like, what's that movie where Tom Hanks is trying to figure everything out from the clues and stuff?
Clue?
Yeah, Da Vinci Code, trying to figure out what Jerry's talking about in these restaurants. Throw the little nuggets out there, you know.
All right, I've got 6:01, so let's get back to planning and zoning, item number 16.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is an application for a change of zoning R-1601. This is a quasi-judicial item. In accordance with Section 24.01 of the Code, each commissioner member needs to disclose any contact they may have received from any interested parties concerning this application. Commissioner Harden?
I haven't communicated with anyone about it.
I have it.
None.
I think I talked to the county attorney.
None.
Thank you. Anyone who is here is going to provide any information on this application, including staff. Please stand up to be sworn. And the applicant, if the applicant is here. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Just in case.
This request for rezoning is from R1 Single Family Residential to CO Commercial Office for a parcel located at 49 Circle Drive. The Planning Commission considered this request and voted 8-1 to recommend approval of the rezoning.
Motion to approve.
A second.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have any citizens? Discussion from the board.
What was the argument of the person that voted not in favor?
As I recall it, there wasn't a specific reason, but forgive me, I really couldn't say for sure offhand.
But this appears to be something that aligns well with the Crawfordville plan.
That's correct. It is consistent with the Crawfordville Town Plan, and it is adjoining existing commercial office zoning.
And guys, I've been saying this for years, that at some point, if we want to see growth stop going up and down 319, we got to go out. And this goes out into...
Motion to approve.
I already made one.
We got a motion and a
I
second.
second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Passes 5-0.
Good job, Skip.
All right, that ends our planning and zoning. We've done county attorney, county administrator. Let's go to the second citizens to be heard, Mr. Chris Russell.
Good evening, Commissioners. Chris Russell, 92 Pimlico. Watching the first citizens be heard. Sorry, I just swallowed my gum. So it's with me 7 years. That's a lot of gum in here, too. Waiting for that weight loss shot to get here. Golly, I guess I should have brought cookies and sweet tea. I mean, good night. Look, 3 of you up for re-election right now. 2 of you can come back, possibly. So thank you for serving on that note. You know, all 3 of you for doing it. One of you 2 won't be back at the next meeting, but you'll be back. You're vital to this community. I may not agree with every decision you made. I never will agree with every decision you made, but I do applaud you for stepping in the ring. There's a lot of folks that like to sit at this very platform right here and cast stones at you, each and every one of you. There's a lot of folks that like to sit on social media, cast stones at you, but they don't have the intestinal fortitude to step up like you did. And now all 3 of you, you've went through this. You've had a tenure in this, at least one tenure, and you sought re-election again, and that is very admirable to put up with what you've done. So thank you for your service. Whoever doesn't come back, it's kind of like the Hunger Games. Whoever doesn't come off of the district, whatever district doesn't get it, sorry, but hey, thank you for serving. Howard, Dr. Kessler, Chairman, Ralph, Richard, thanks for all you've done. I hate you put up with what you have to put up with. Maybe we can get past that one day, but thank you for serving, and good luck in the future.
Thank you, sir. Mr. John Trice.
Thank you. My name's John Trice, 35 J&K Lane. Talking about this oyster project y'all got going. Y'all hoorahing and hollering about. Says in this paper, y'all gonna build an oyster house, or let some people build an oyster house. Two of the biggest crooks in the county. They're in the real estate business. Now why are they going into the oyster business? They don't know nothing about oysters. All they know about oysters is they go to the oyster house, they buy them on a half shell, they pay for them, and they eat them. Why do they have to build an oyster house to handle these oysters? It don't even mention Nichols Oyster House on 319 that's been out there since half of y'all was in diapers. But they can't handle these oysters that's been planted and raised in Wakulla County? That's crazy as it can be. There's oyster houses in Panacea that can handle these oysters. But no, we got to let Tim Jordan and Walt Dixon build an oyster house that can handle these oysters that we're going to raise in Wakulla County. People that's been in Wakulla County since most of y'all was babies. But we're going to build a new oyster house to handle these oysters that oystermen are growing in Wakulla County. That's crazy. I ain't never heard of such in my life. I got so mad last week when I got this paper and read it. Give me a headache. But it looks like the county commissioners are going to look out for these boys that ain't never been in. They've been in the real estate business. Walt flies around in his airplane and buys land. But he's going to go in the oyster business now. Why? But y'all can't sit there and truthfully answer that question. There ain't no way you can do it. And Tim Jordan's always been in the real estate business. Marshall Tucker takes care of him. That's the craziest thing I ever heard of. And nobody can truthfully answer that question. You can't go home tonight and tell your wife the answer to that question. Not a true answer. None of you can. Of course, you ain't going to answer me because y'all don't do that. And you can't answer nobody else with that question. But I'm glad y'all let me speak because I ain't been here in a long time. I've been giving y'all some slack for a long time. Because I wanted to come, wait till I had a real good question to come ask you guys and give y'all time to think about, because some of you won't know the answer to that question and you won't be reelected and you still won't know the answer to it. But some of you's done a good job. I'll give you credit for that. But your time's about up and you're going to go and you'll find something else to do and somebody else aggravates, like I come to aggravate the new county commissioners. But I'll be here again someday, and I want y'all to think about the question I asked y'all tonight and try to come up with a reasonable answer so someday when I see you out on the street, you can give me a suitable answer for it. Because I'll see you again unless I drop dead next week. And I'd like to have a suitable answer for that question from you county commissioners, because you do get our tax money. And I'd like to know the answer to that, because we have plenty of oyster houses in Wakulla County that nobody has to build a new oyster house to handle these oysters that they're going to grow.
Thank you, Mr. Trice. We
Thank
appreciate you coming back.
All right.
Come back to see us.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
I've seen John more in the last 2 months I have in the last 6 years, I think.
Last time I saw him was at the VA clinic.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
And you don't need to cuss our county commissioners. You need to go back to Alabama if you're going to try to do that.
All right, that ends our citizens to be heard. We are at discussion items. Commissioner Kessler, you are scheduled, so we'll start with you.
Okay. So I have three items there for under our discussion items. And one is Emily Lane, which is a road that is hopefully soon to be paved, and I just wanted an update from the staff so the community can understand why there's been this delay.
We've, the biggest thing we're doing is trying to make sure that we got a secure easement for the construction of the road. According to all the records we've got, there's an easement exists, but it's the actual document is, the deeds are illegible, the originals are, so the easement is there. I think everybody knows it. We just don't know exactly where it is, so we're going to create an easement agreement or an easement document and take to each of the 9 property owners.
That's not a platted subdivision?
Nope. And it's not. We can't read the deeds. Just where it speaks of the easement.
Is it an unrecorded subdivision?
Heather.
I don't know what the status of it is, but there is an easement document that created 5 or 6 different roads and granted it to the county, but for three of the legal descriptions in the original that's on file in the clerk's office cannot be read. There is the wording, it looked, in fact, yeah, the clerk had stamped on at the time, original unreadable, so I don't know.
Hey, get a Donnie Sparkman, he'll figure out what it says.
No, it's impossible.
But you're saying you come up with a new agreement, as long as everyone signs it, that's the new...
Well, just, again, if I could...
Gamble, but we don't want to gamble.
It's not an unrecorded subdivision, which, you know, I know it's not platted with a dedication, but sometimes there's unrecorded subdivisions.
I don't know if it's an unrecorded subdivision or not. What we've been trying to do is track, there's a reference in some of the deeds to this easement, so we know it exists. We just don't know where it... Even the surveyor could not plot it.
Just for grins, all someone would have to do is talk to clerk's office. Don't y'all have a plat with, y'all keep the plats, y'all have a section for unrecorded plats, right? Yeah. Okay. You know, who knows, it may be there.
Okay. All right.
Thank you. Old Woodville Highway, and what I'm referring to with that is there's a one-street subdivision that was developed, built out pretty much, dogwood forest. It empties out onto Old Woodville Highway, but the section of Wakulla County, approximately about 1/8 of a mile, is unpaved.
Is that the one with the long cul-de-sac?
Yes. Yes. And I remember asking for this to be part of the development initially, and there was no appetite to do that, and so that we got what it got. And the reason why I put it on the agenda now is it was sort of a hot topic when it was first developed, and now it's been brought up by one of the residents living there. Can't figure out why the county doesn't pave its section so that there's a paved road that could maybe take some of the traffic off of.
If the 1 cent sales tax passes, which I hope it does, but if the 1 cent sales tax passes, would we be able to use that money to put that road, section of road on the list to pave it? I think that's part of the plan if the 1 cent sales tax renews, of using some of that money to pave some of these dirt roads.
Well, I don't know if it's a plan to do that. So you know, basically, person's asking, where do we stand on this? Is the county making this one of their priorities of dirt roads to be paved, or that section of it, or what?
It is on the list of our dirt roads to be. We've had quite a bit of discussion about Old Woodville Highway. It is on our list to be paved, and I don't have it with me right now to tell you exactly where it's at in the kettle. But we will take a look at that one small section. So we were looking at paving the entire stretch that's not paved.
I must be thinking of something different, because I would have swore that when the county went in and paved those 3 roads that run between Woodville Highway and Old Woodville Highway, and they spilled into a private subdivision. Remember, the county voted to pave up to the part that it was maintaining.
Right.
And I remember when they developed that subdivision, it was done in Edwin Brown's office, because it had a real long cul-de-sac with a couple of landscape islands in the middle. I would have swore that they were required to pave it from the existing county road at least to the start of their road, which is not very far at all. I mean, you could...
That Woodville Highway road...
Several hundred feet.
Yeah.
It's not paved. Their paved road does not join a county paved road?
I haven't...
No, I think it does. I think you can,
There's pavement and dirt section. There's dirt in the middle and
Yeah,
paved
there's-
on each side.
I would have swore that
It
it
just-
was
it-
paved,
if
and
you're
there's
heading
dirt on the
towards-
other side.
yeah.
No, there's dirt on the Wakulla County side.
Anyway, we can agree it's a mess, and that would be if there was ever a two-way road,
That's a good one.
Woodville Highway would be, because shortly you're not going to be able to get through town regardless.
Mhm.
So that would be a great place, but of course half of it's in Leon County,
All right.
so.
I've got the matrix here, the road paving matrix, and it looks like we've got it listed as number 95 on the...
Made that road
Yeah,
paving
but
matrix.
we reworked that matrix, so,
Well.
but that's
Who
that's
made the
something we'll
original
look
one?
at. I think that would be you.
That's right.
That's why it's 95.
Randy's fault. There we go.
95. All right. Okay, all right, so you're going to keep on working
Yes,
on
sir.
that. And that's, I think, well, at least the citizen can hear the discussion tonight if he tunes in or whatever. Utility taxes, I've hammered on that for the last 4 years, and the wireless taxes, communication taxes, and I thought I'd share an article. You might pass this down, and maybe I'll give one to, I think, I'll give mine to Brandy, so that'd be good. Maybe. And this is just an article basically reporting that Florida's wireless tax burden is still amongst the highest in the country. And it goes in to explain that even though these plans are diminishing in their cost, the government taxes, both on state and county levels, make it so that we were, I think, number one for a while, but right now I think we're down to number 8. I may have that slightly off, but in any event, this goes through very simply what's happening with the taxes to show you that the wireless service is increasing. The taxes has increased, and this is something that, for many Americans, particularly in the lower incomes, that's their sole means of communication. And so it's a very difficult tax for them to, and even though Florida did reduce its tax just a year or two ago, it's still amongst the highest in our state. So I shared that with you, just for information.
Very good. Anything further?
Is that it?
Randy?
Well, I'm looking at Google Earth right now just for grins and giggles, and there is Summerwin Circle. There's Old Woodville Highway. That's obviously paved, right?
Yeah, I'm with you.
You come up, there's Dogwood Forest. So, as far as I know, that is paved up to it. Now, obviously, there's a bunch of dirt here, so they may be talking about this side.
Yeah,
of
it's
it.
a small section. It's not.
I mean, it's already paved.
No, but
There's definitely a dirt section.
Dirt.
Yeah, I know. The part that north of it, going into Leon County, all they were required to pave to was up to their road.
No, there's dirt in Wakulla County still.
There's 2 sections of dirt in Wakulla
Yeah, I know
County.
that. What I'm saying is, to get to the subdivision, they have a path. They have a path of a paved road.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Would we be able to relook at where it's at on the matrix to, its priority? Again, I think the point was, I think the neighbors were saying they wanted their section of the road paved. Now, I guess they're talking about the north section, maybe?
Exactly.
But there is a path of asphalt to get from Woodville Highway to their house. I just wanted to clarify that.
Right. If you had, sure. So you're obligated to go in one direction.
Well, and if you're coming from Bloxham Cutoff going north, you'd rather go up Old Woodville Highway to get to all of those neighborhoods rather than to go further to Woodville Highway, go up and come back. And so, I mean, it seems kind of crazy to me that it's paved, dirt, paved, and so it certainly needs to be.
Well, okay.
It's a legit. I feel just like Commissioner Chairman Thomas feels. I think that it's a legitimate question that the citizen raised and should be addressed.
Well, the whole road, of course, eventually needs to be paved. We paved the southern end when I was there, up to when they were going to put the bike trail park in, I think. And then we paved all these little side roads
from Woodville Highway, when you were on the board, I think.
Yeah, we did Adele and...
Leon Nettles was here, yeah, Summer Wind Circle, at least to help the people that live there, and
that
there's
was a
just
big
no
help.
right-of-way. The only reason we got right-of-way on this road is because I guess they paid to pave that part. But anyway, I digress. I'd like to thank especially, well, all three that are running for their conduct while at the board. You know, I think especially Howard and Ralph. I mean, we've never had two sitting commissioners running against each other, and they haven't squabbled, and I appreciate that. And I think the citizens appreciate that. Richard, certainly you don't have your opponent sitting on the board, but, you know, you and Chuck haven't been back and forth, and I think that's the citizens really, I know I appreciate it. I don't want to be made a fiasco out of.
You would have been in the middle.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'd have been in the firing line.
Yeah.
Also, I don't know whose political machine it is at work, but it's working very efficiently. I got several texts today telling me that I did not vote in 2014. I really need to get out and vote. I didn't reply that I was actually on the ballot that year, so I must not have voted for myself. So they're starting to text people now, apparently. That's all I got.
All right. I'd just like to say 4 years flew by pretty fast, and it's been a pleasure being on this board. It's been a pleasure serving the county. And I served my country for 12 years in the Navy, and this ranks right up there with one of the best things that I've ever done. I've got a servant's heart, and you know, if this is my last night, I'd like to thank everyone who helped me be here, everyone who helped support me along the way. If I am reelected tomorrow, I'm going to work just as hard for the next 4 years, and so I hope that's the case, and wish my fellow commissioner well, and you know, we'll let the people decide, and we'll be at peace with the outcome there. Thank you all.
Like I said, we'll either see you tomorrow, we'll see you next meeting, or it's been a pleasure working with you.
Yeah, and that makes it's a little different this year with us moving that meeting, with the way things worked out. Normally there's one meeting that's sort of a lame duck meeting, where we're here, and so I should also say, you know, fully acceptance of what the outcome is, or will be, and fully happy in my serving of the people, and it's been a real privilege, and that's about sums it up. So I thank all of those who gave me their opinions. I would have liked to hear some more of the people that disagreed with me at times to understand why they were disagreeing with me, but there were plenty of people that agreed with me, or I really shouldn't word it that way. There were plenty of people that I represented their views and brought to the board that they were happy I did. And if I'm here for the next meeting, then I'll continue to do that. Thank you.
It's been a pleasure never mind. I'm not on the ballot. Never mind.
I would like to compliment Commissioner Thomas for his work on the board. He has traveled all over the state of Florida on behalf of Wakulla County. I suppose, and I believe it's always at your own expense. He has not charged the county for any of those trips, and he's been on the road probably 30% of the time on county business. He is the chairman of several committees statewide. He has exposed our county statewide, and for that I'd like to say I appreciate it.
All in a day's work.
I'd just like to echo what Ralph said, that 4 years have really went by really quick, but it is definitely an honor and a privilege to serve on this commission. It's an honor and a privilege to serve the members of our community, and I certainly hope to be allowed the opportunity to continue to serve for the next 4 years. I'm faithful and confident, and I just enjoy serving. One thing I want to also mention, this last Saturday, our county had a Veterans Day celebration at Hudson Park. We had a Veterans Day parade. We had a Veterans Day celebration where we honored the veterans of our county. This Veterans Day is coming up the 11th. For a county that's our rural size, we have a high percentage of citizens in our county that have served our country. We have a good number of citizens that are serving our country now, and I think it's. I just would like to thank everyone. I served in the Air Force, and each of us up here served in a different branch. I just would like to thank and honor and salute the veterans of Wakulla County for their service, the ones that have served and the ones that are serving now, and ask that we keep them in our prayers for protecting our freedom, and also their families as well. For those that are serving, their families are serving right along with them in different capacities, and I just would like to honor and salute the veterans of Wakulla County.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn.
All right. Thank you all for coming out. We stand adjourned.
Cole, we'll see you at the election.